All right, good morning, everyone. This lecture will be for week 7, starting February 15th. Um, I made it back home. I had been in Florida caring for my mother during previous taped lectures, particularly last week, and I made it home over the weekend. So I'm recording this on Sunday, Valentine's Day, and I'll have it ready for Monday. So I think just about all of us, no matter where we live, are dealing with some kind of a cold front this weekend. So hopefully everybody stays safe. I'm worried about power outages personally. Ice storms tend to wreak havoc with the power grid here in the Midwest, in Arkansas, back in Arkansas. Okay, so this week we're going to talk about big data and its impact on traditional business intelligence, which I'll go over the BI cycle and kind of, um, build on last week's Tableau visualization. That was really a pretty good example of a business intelligence dashboard. Um, so we'll continue on, and then we have very specific requirements for the paper this week. Some of you are doing really good at focusing on the instructions and organizing your paper so that it complies very clearly with the instructions, which, as you know from my academic writing for systems engineers video, if I can't see where you are addressing the question, it's not satisfactory. It's unsat. You've got to follow the instructions. You can't just answer the question you want to answer. You have to answer the question that was asked of you, and that's gonna be at work or school or anywhere. Um, you got to answer the question that was posed to you. Okay, so here we go. We'll do a traditional BI overview, and then we'll just talk in general about how big data has somewhat perturbed that. Um, Disregard that third bullet, and it's not week 5; it's week 7. Good grief! I thought I went through my slides and found all the. But we will not be doing research methodologies because we've already talked about that during the residency, and it's week 7, not week 5, as it was in this previous semester. So hopefully that's the only cut and paste error. All right, so here's your BI cycle, and it's so much like any other iterative, cyclical process, a cycle. Starts off with, what are your business requirements? What do you need to know? What are your pain points? Um, and then you kind of, in section 2, you sort of look at your support systems and see um, what 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 you want the data model to look like, as far as it's normally, structuring a data warehouse. You don't normally want to analyze every single thing, so you'll do some aggregating of data out of systems, and kind of harmonizing data types and formats and whatnot. So you design the model, and then you have to actually figure out physically where you're going to put it. The actual schema. Are we going to do, um, Oracle on AWS, or are we going to do it, small scale desktop using Access, at the absolute lowest level. So you have to design, physically. Yeah, no kidding. How are you going to implement this thing? Then you build your data warehouse, which is what drives the BI dashboard. Generally speaking, companies and CIOs and folks are uncomfortable with us analysts, us data scientists, reaching into production systems and using those computing resources, those, the CPU cycles and the database itself, to do analysis. When you've got a production system working, and there's, you got the latency figured out and everything, you don't really want to go in and start doing what could be, almost endless loop queries with Python or SQL or whatever. So generally, we build a data warehouse that pulls the data from um, the production systems. And number five, you structure the business intelligence dashboard. You figure out um, what the overall project structure will be, the how your strategic, your operational, and tactical um, dashboards and metrics and whatnot, and then develop the actual objects, which are like those particular dashboards and objects within the dashboard, whether it's Tableau or Power BI or some other tool. You start pulling together those graphs and charts and the things that a manager can dive down through, and then you administer and maintain. Then you publish the BI system, and of course maintain. You're going to get people saying, "Hey, wait a second. I can't figure out how to do this, or this report is lacking a particular metric. I want to add something." It's just like software. I mean, it is software. It's just generally speaking using a COTS tool instead of custom coding. Although there are probably still some custom coded BI products out there that folks are running into. So that's the traditional BI lifecycle. Nowhere in here do you see a real-time injection of Google reviews or web searches or um, you know product searches. Like if you're Amazon.com, this stuff's happening in real time, and it's big data. Anyway, so here's your typical um, BI structure, and it's fairly deliberate and slow paced. You decide what your key performance indicators are, and then you go grab what you can to shed light on those KPIs out of your functional systems using a extract, transform, and load ETL tool like maybe SSI from Microsoft. You pull that stuff into a data warehouse so that it's safe, um, and slogging through it to gain insights. Some of these machine learning algorithms, whatever K nearest neighbor and G nearest neighbor and all that. Some of these things require, even if you're not necessarily talking big data, um, if you've got millions of rows in a traditional RDBMS, it's gonna take a lot of um, performance to do like machine learning and whatnot, and analysis on that data warehouse. So that's why it's good to insulate. And then, of course, the data warehouse feeds, reporting, your data visualizations, your tableaus, your graphs, all that kind of stuff. Whether it's web based, there's some really, really good um, um, Java libraries out there. Um, okay. I apologize for stammering, guys. I wasn't positive that I hit record, but I'm good. Um, yeah, there's some like JavaScript libraries. I saw one. I'm not a web developer really, but I saw data-driven documents D3 has some really cool JavaScript libraries to allow you to visualize data and make interactive visualizations on the web with no extra tools. And then you got your typical BI dashboards with things like Tableau and Microsoft Power BI. So that's traditional. And then you inject. Um, Come on, next slide. There we go. What changed in the world of BI? Well, big data did. The three V's, the variety, velocity, and really, changed how these BI systems um, need to react. You've got you've got events happening in the world that can cause um, changes in your supply chain, that can cause changes in demand and in depending on your depending on your enterprise. Some of you guys are in, working in banks. This, that events matter. If you're working in finance, you can have a news event happen um, that will spark a change that is then reflected in the data, whether, the stock exchange and whatnot. Um, you've got people commenting. If you're a large enterprise, you've got people commenting day in, day out. Um, well, the news cycle. I mean, we got this weather front coming in. This will potentially, if you're a public utility, you got to ramp up production. You got to move crews around. There's all kinds of things to pay attention to. Um, that are really just the V's of big data coming in at your enterprise and your decision making. Yeah, social media posts trending. You can look at what people are discussing. Do sentiment analysis on that. You've got mobile data. People are using your app, and you can watch particularly things happening and where things are happening and change you know uh, management decisions in real time. um, as we talked about last week, we got IoT devices in the enterprise, whether it's a lot of it's in logistics, manufacturing, shipping, tracking, delivery, those sort of things. But you've got in healthcare just a massive amount of information coming in that would update your decision making in real time. The complexity of the supply chain. You've got companies that that produce goods for foreign companies that can reach into the enterprise in a large retailer like Dollar Tree or like Walmart, and they can see how their own products are selling on the shelves and adjust the supply chain to meet their partners' demand. Um, and those point of sale systems are updating in real time. There's just so much data flowing into the enterprise that can change the way a manager looking at their business intelligence dashboard, uh, how it functions and the decisions that they make and web searches and on and on and on and on and on. Uh, financial transactions, um, on and on. So this, the concept of big data and the processing of that big data adds just another layer of complexity. And some companies are dealing with it better than others, and that's your challenge this week. Now, I want to make sure that everybody sees what I have highlighted here and changed from the classroom. We're looking for uh, how businesses have integrated big data and analytics with traditional business intelligence. Okay, so you need to find a case study that shows a change in the way they were doing things. Okay, um, so the challenge is to find a case study of a Fortune 1000 company. Um, you know, the Fortune lists, the top 100 companies, Fortune 100, and the top 500 companies. I work at a Fortune 500 company. I have actually seen papers that were written as if the Fortune 1000 is a particular company. Like I work at Fortune 1000 Incorporated, and the student obviously had no concept of business or anything. And I've seen more than one paper like that. So be careful. You are finding a Fortune 1000 company that has successfully integrated big data and analytics with business intelligence. So you have 5 sections. It would be nice to see 5 headers in your paper, where you'll discuss the company just briefly, a few sentences, what its sector is, how big it is, its growth or whatever, founding, just a paragraph or so on what this company is, um, its approach. How did it approach integrating big data analytics with their business intelligence system? Did they make 2 separate systems? What was their approach? Uh, um, Hopefully, you'll be able to find um, an analysis of what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, and how to improve to be even more successful. Um, so that is your challenge. Now, the the challenge is finding this in a peer-reviewed journal article, um, which it can be easier to find examinations of things that are on maybe not peer-reviewed academic journal articles, like MIS Quarterly. But you might find them in an examination on a LinkedIn or on a white paper. Um, if you can find that, try not to fall for someone's like a consultant's white paper that says, "Well, we did this and it was fantastic, and you hire us, for your next." Don't use those for a source. Try and use something that was a little bit more like an actual credible research article, or a Gartner report or a Pew Research or something like that. So yeah, this is a challenge. The writing shouldn't be challenging. You just find the case study and write the paper. It's only a few pages. But finding the case study that you want to use is going to be your challenge. So I recommend you get on it early in the week. Okay, and there are standard requirements listed in the assignment. And as always, uh, call. I'm sorry. Email me with any problems. Now, y'all have my cell phone. The school from the residency, the school um, uh, frowns on us communicating over the phone, so that all communication stays documented, within the universities. But if you email me and it's super super urgent, and you want to text me and ping me, you can shoot me a text and I'll go answer the email. But I'm on Outlook pretty much all day every day, pretty much. So I should see your emails when they come in. All right. Again, yeah. Let me know if you have questions, guys.